Greetings to everyone. Today, I will share with you the truth at the core of our lives. On this year-end day, I've made another recording. One was already completed this morning. This is for all of us, people of all nationalities, countries, genders, ages, castes, beliefs, statuses, religions, ethnicities, and backgrounds can listen. We may divide ourselves by religion, by country, by ideology, by gender, by age, or by status. Whatever the distinctions may be, they are part of this imagined world in which we temporarily reside. But there is one thing that is the same, something that cannot be divided. It is the nature of life itself, the core of existence, which is our mind. You might call it the soul or spirit. This essence of life, the original element, existed before all things. Each of us can access it. It is within. By turning inward and coming to know it, we will understand where our origins lie. And in that realization, tears will flow. We will see why we are here, what we have been seeking all along. Those tears will flow deeply as we grasp the truth of being human in this moment. Isn't that so? We believe this body is ours, don't we? But what if this body were to die in the next hour? What happens after death? If tomorrow this body ceases to function, no matter the cause, whether it's a car accident, a falling tree, a collapsing house, or a simple misstep that leads to a fatal fall, any number of reasons could take this body away. But do you realize, the moment this body dies, where are we? Right now, try to imagine this body being erased. Close your eyes if you wish. The body disappears. Picture yourself without this body. Right now, this very moment, what remains when the body is gone? Where are we? We still feel that we exist, don't we? You would still say that you are here. But without a body, there is no spoken language, right? No words, no sounds, no mental images, no emotions. And yet, there is still something, a nature that remains unchanged. How could we remove this nature? We've already erased the body, abandoned sound, let go of mental images, and set aside emotions, no sounds, no images. Absolute silence. Now let go of all memories, everything you've ever remembered. What remains? It's as if you have never been born at all. We have never been anything. There are no memories left. Now erase the act of perceiving that is happening right now. At this moment you're aware of sound, smell, sight, taste and touch. Erase even this awareness. There is no perception left at all. All of these can be erased entirely. Do you know what remains? What remains is the essence of life. This is incredibly clear. Now erase darkness and light as well. What remains is pure clarity, a profound transparency beyond description, a pure and original essence. Within this, there is emptiness, like a clarity that exists right in front of us. The clarity before us cannot be touched. Within this clarity, air exists, doesn't it? Air resides within this empty, transparent space. Even everything on this earth exists within this empty clarity. In fact, the entire universe resides within this transparent emptiness. Do you understand this? Now, erase everything, darkness, light, and all material substances. Erase them completely. Erase the entire universe. What remains is one thing that cannot be erased, the pure, transparent emptiness, the original essence. We are this life essence, profoundly empty, clear and pure. We are one with the transparent emptiness of all that exists. All things arose from this point. Even what we call the Big Bang originated from this primal essence, the pure, pristine element. This essence is profoundly pure, clear and refined. The Big Bang emerged from this transparent essence, exploding into being. The consciousness of all beings, the life essence within us all, which is one with this clarity, burst and scattered outward in that moment. Masses of energy radiated outward, and fragments of matter began to form. These fragments gathered and coalesced, coming together as stars, suns, galaxies, and the universe itself. the essence of life within us began to attach itself to material elements. These elements, in turn, started to evolve, breaking apart and forming living organisms, first one cell, then two, then three, multiplying exponentially. Life forms consumed and integrated with one another, growing larger and more complex, taking on different forms and appearances depending on the geography and climate of each celestial body. This life essence, infinite in nature, has dwelled within material form since the very beginning, continuing to the present day. We have existed since the dawn of the first star, progressing through countless stars and universes, infinite and unmeasurable. We have been everything, experiencing life as all kinds of beings up until this very moment. When our essence takes residence in a vessel, this body and that body is consumed. Whether we consume others or they consume us, it creates cycles of pain, anger, vengeance, and karmic bonds. "I'll return to consume you in turn," the cycle promises. Thus, the endless exchanges of harm continue. This is why, when we encounter adversaries in this life, those we may have wronged or who may have wronged us in the past, the moment we meet, a subtle dislike arises. Without clear reason, we find ourselves drawn into conflict, discord, and suffering, entangled in problems stemming from these unseen karmic ties. We have all been interconnected, and each day we continue to settle our accounts with one another. The point is, I am not here to direct your focus toward these external matters. Today, as we mark this year's conclusion, let us reflect deeply. Imagine today as the final day this body will exist, the very last day. There is only this moment to truly understand the essence of life, whether you call it consciousness, the mind, or the soul. These names are irrelevant because this natural essence has no name. It is the pure, formless life essence, seamlessly unified with all things. This is who we truly are, this life essence itself. However, at this moment, our life essence remains unaware of its own true nature. Our life essence has taken countless forms, from the smallest creatures to the greatest beings. We have been human countless times, rich, poor, possessing everything and nothing. We have held power, fame, and admiration. We've been through it all, experiencing the heights of goodness and the depths of wrongdoing, greatness and humility. But do you realize? We are born and die in vain, over and over again. Just as if today were the very last day. Imagine it's the final day of the year, and this body is about to die. If life itself does not perish, it will remain ignorant and simply move on to seek a new body, repeating the cycle endlessly. Imagine that once today is over, it's truly gone. This day, this year, this month will never come again. A new day, a new year, and a new cycle will begin, constantly renewing themselves. But this moment, this opportunity to dwell within this body, could very well be the last. Now consider this. If our life essence remains unaware, it will continue seeking a new body, perpetuating the same cycle. Birth after birth, living only to eat, sleep, wake, struggle, compete, eat again, sleep again, and repeat. This endless pattern leads only to aging, suffering, and ultimately, death. No matter how wealthy we become, this body will still die. No matter how exceptional or accomplished we are, this body is destined to perish. This body exists solely to die. So what are we striving for? What are we struggling so hard to achieve only to face death in the end? Do you realize that if our life essence does not die, it has never truly come or gone? It is one with all things, neither arriving nor departing, neither born nor extinguished. It is pure, blending seamlessly with everything. It is neither dark nor light. It simply merges with all existence. This is the essence of life, and we are that essence. But this essence, unable to break free, continues changing bodies endlessly. More often than not, it takes form as creatures consumed by others in the cycle of life. Becoming prey for others is the result of consuming them in the past. We then take on the form of creatures, living as vessels for others, aquatic animals, land animals or birds, destined to be consumed, just as we once consumed them. This cycle continues endlessly, a natural process tied to a mind still in ignorance. Our life essence, if it does not recognize its true nature, remains unaware that it is pure and untainted. As long as it clings to dwelling in material forms, the cycle of birth will never end. Only when we awaken this life essence and observe clearly, seeing that every body exists only to die, will we cease to return and inhabit any form ever again. Let us set a firm resolution from this moment onward. With all our heart, declare this intention from deep within. From this moment until our last breath, we will diligently listen to this teaching about the mind and the essence of life. We will strive to gain clarity about the true nature of our life essence and ensure that it does not return to be reborn. We will awaken and observe within, realizing that this voice speaking, these thoughts arising, are not truly us. They are part of the natural order. We will see clearly that mental images and imaginings are merely natural phenomena, not who we are. We will understand that emotions, whether satisfaction, dissatisfaction, or neutrality, are not us, but natural occurrences. We will recognize that sensory experiences, smells, sounds, sights, tastes, and physical sensations are also natural processes, not our true self. All of these experiences, every perception, are part of nature and not truly us. We will not foolishly cling to these phenomena anymore and will end the cycle of rebirth. This will be the final existence. Let us make this declaration to ourselves and follow through with it. Observe and understand that our life essence seeks wisdom in every existence it takes. From the moment we are born, we have been learning, constantly learning everything. But all this learning has been focused outward. We've been seeking externally, striving endlessly, chasing after things without truly knowing why. We work from morning until night. For what? To provide food for this physical body and to chase feelings of happiness. Do you realize that feelings of happiness and unhappiness are just emotions? They are natural phenomena and not truly us. We try so hard to think only positive thoughts, but do you know that thoughts, whether good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative, are simply natural occurrences? Thoughts arise, and arise. They are not who we truly are. The voice speaking inside, do you see how it keeps talking endlessly? This voice, these thoughts, are natural phenomena. They are not truly us. Can anyone touch or hold this voice? Can anyone capture it and put it in a bag? Try telling your thoughts, only think good things. Can you? No, because thoughts wander endlessly, thinking about this and that, 101 things. One moment it thinks, I want to eat, I'm hungry. The next, I want to go out, I want to swim, it's so hot today, I want to stay in an air-conditioned room. Then, I want to go shopping, I want spicy curry, I want pizza, I want to take a boat ride and eat seafood, I want to visit an island. And after all that, I'm tired. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sleep. Today, you feel like sleeping. Do you notice the voice thinking all these thoughts? Can you observe it? Can you see the voice as it speaks, the voice from which I speak now? Every time we open our mouths to speak, do you see that the words spoken are not truly us? The voice is merely a vibration, an outward ripple. It resonates at the surface of our life essence. If I were to give an analogy, our life essence is like a clear, pure sphere. This pure essence has an outer surface, a kind of tension at its edge. Our essence is made of this original purity, a clarity so refined that it cannot be touched or grasped, much like the transparency that exists right before your eyes. All material things are composed of an essence that is clear and empty. Yet it is the fundamental substance, the original essence. We are that clear essence. The surface of this clarity has a tension, and when anything makes contact with it, a response arises. For instance, the sound we hear right now, the sound contacting our life essence, is being perceived at this very moment. This act of perception is the result of sound interacting with the surface of our clear essence. When the sound touches the life essence, it creates ripples. We then interpret and understand the experience, attributing meaning to it. When we hear a sound, we immediately think, understand, or perhaps question it. This process, whether understanding or doubting, is a ripple on the surface. The sound we hear and the thoughts that arise are ripples on the surface of our essence. Mental imagery, too, is a ripple on the surface of our life essence or mind. Let's use an analogy. Imagine this essence as a sphere of consciousness, or sphere of the mind. When something contacts the surface tension of this sphere, it creates ripples that manifest as sound, thoughts, mental images, or emotions. Whatever comes into contact with it causes this ripple, resulting in perception and awareness. The act of perceiving manifests as ripples, sounds, images, and emotions. These ripples constantly occur on the surface of our essence. Do you understand? If we could simply see that these things are not truly us, we wouldn't even need to discuss the body. This body exists because we assign meaning to it. The sound of thought defines it. This is an arm, this is a leg, and thus arms and legs appear to exist. Look at your arm or leg, do they speak? Look at your skin, does it say it is skin? Look at your fingers, do they announce themselves as thumb, index, middle, ring, or pinky fingers? Do they claim to be nails, tendons, or bones? Do they proclaim themselves as my bone, or my pinky finger, left or right? Observe closely. They simply exist in silent awareness, without anyone claiming to know. When you look at everything in the world, you'll find it all is the same. When we look at everything in this world, sweeping our gaze from left to right, right to left, from top to bottom, observing the sky, the earth, and everything around us, notice what happens. As we scan with our eyes, there is only the process of knowing, knowing, knowing. Everything we see is simply something being known. Do you understand this? Whenever the life essence perceives something, sees things appear, it experiences a contact. That contact triggers recognition like, that's the sky. Oh, today there are many clouds. The moment it sees, it assigns meaning, immediately thinking, that's the sky, and there are many clouds. But do you see that these things don't speak? They are simply appearances for the life essence to perceive. The life essence is a learner, continuing to learn until it realizes the truth, that none of these things are us. Everything is merely something being known, arising and then dissolving, appearing and vanishing, constantly changing and impermanent. Everything is simply something being known. All things are natural phenomena existing as they are, without any language to define what they are. They just exist in their own way. Darkness and light, they are as they are. The sky, sometimes with clouds and sometimes without, simply exists as it is. Look closely at everything. Do you see the trees? They exist as they are, growing on their own, sprouting leaves and flowers, bearing fruit. Eventually the fruit ripens, falls, and becomes food for other beings. The tree simply exists as it is. Can you see this? When we observe nature, we see that a tree grows, flourishes, bears flowers and fruit, and then withers and dies. This is nature. It exists as it is. Isn't that so? Observe carefully and continually, and you will see that all of nature exists as it is. It arises, ages, bears fruit, withers, and eventually decays and dies. This is the way of nature. Rivers, streams, ponds, and lakes appear and flow, but one day they too will change and eventually fade away. They simply exist as they are. All living beings are born. grow, consume one another, reproduce, age, suffer, and finally die, becoming nourishment for others. This is the natural order. It exists as it is. Keep observing and noticing nature continually until you see that everything simply exists as it is. Can you understand this? Imagine when we were newly born into this world, just starting to learn and remember. We began to recognize, this is my father, this is my mother. In those early moments, everything in the world seemed miraculous to us. We saw things and thought, what's this? Oh, how wonderful. We saw people and marveled, are these people? Oh, how wonderful. We saw animals and thought, what's this creature? Oh, how amazing. When we saw a rabbit, we were overjoyed. Oh, how wonderful. When we saw a dog, oh, how great. And when we saw a cat, we felt the same joy. When we saw a tiger or any other creature, we marveled, oh, how strange, how wonderful. Seeing fish in the water or in a museum felt astonishing and extraordinary. Whatever we saw, it seemed as though we had never seen it before, even though we had once been all these things. Each time we are reborn, everything begins anew. If life resides in a body, it starts afresh immediately. When this body dies, the life essence will seek a new body and begin learning again, as if everything is entirely new. It learns, it grows, and when the body dies again, the cycle repeats, starting over, learning what seems like new things, though they are actually old experiences rediscovered as if for the first time. We've seen it all before. We've been everything before. Yet every time we are reborn into a new body, we follow the same pattern, starting to learn anew, recording, assigning meaning, and giving value all over again. It's like playing the same game repeatedly. We play it, stop, and then start playing again, only to find the game remains the same. It's like watching a movie. We watch it until the end, understand the story, and move on. Later we come back to watch another movie, but it's essentially the same. There are good and bad characters, a hero, a heroine, supporting roles, and a storyline that ultimately reaches its conclusion once again. And then we watch another story, but it's essentially the same. The characters may be new, with different faces, appearances, clothing, and names, but the storyline remains familiar. There's always a hero and heroine as the main focus, and eventually it concludes. Then we watch it again, a repetition of the same themes. It's like watching movies every day. We watch them so often that we begin to feel they simply exist as they are. One day, when we truly see and understand everything, we realize that all things are just as they are. The movie, too, simply exists as it is. A phone simply exists as it is. It displays images on the screen, produces sounds, and carries stories. It just functions as it is. When we first see a new phone, we feel amazed, excited, and delighted, thrilled by something new. But as we use it over time, we realize there's nothing extraordinary about it. It's just a tool for viewing, calling, and communication, existing as it is. Similarly, when we begin to observe the body, we see it follows the same cycle: birth, aging, illness, and death. Looking at others, we see their bodies are born only to age, suffer, and eventually die. The same applies to all living beings. They are born to age, to suffer, and to die. Life arises, consumes, and ends, only to repeat the cycle of consuming and dying again. Expanding generations, consuming, and dying. When we observe this repeatedly, it stirs thoughts within. We begin to wonder, is this all there is? Life is just this, isn't it? Born only to experience this much. The real question lies here. Why does our life essence come to be born? It's because the life essence does not yet know itself. Just as we, right now, don't truly know who or what we are. We don't understand what we really are. We don't know how we came to be here, why we inhabit this body, or why our life unfolds as it does. We don't even know where we'll go when we die. Will we be born into wealth? We don't know. Will we be born to experience only happiness? We don't know that either. Will we even have the chance to be born again? We don't know. There's only uncertainty. Do you see? Have you ever asked yourself why you were born? What is the purpose of our existence? We don't understand why we are here, and it feels as though we're searching for that answer. Why were we born? Even when we have everything, a house, a car, a family, children, parents, financial stability and comfort, it still feels like something is missing. There's a lingering sense that what we have isn't truly what we're searching for. The life essence is yearning for an answer to the question, what are we? It seeks a conclusion, the kind of answer that brings everything to an end. For example, if wealth were the answer, how much wealth would be enough? Suppose we had 100 million. Would that satisfy us? No, we'd take that 100 million and invest it to make 1 billion. We keep striving endlessly, from morning to night, from birth to death, constantly chasing something, even when we already have everything. But what exactly are we searching for? Can we answer that? In the end, this body will die, and we'll still have no answer. Some people dedicate themselves to rigorous practices, trying to find the answer through many forms of discipline, yet they still cannot grasp it. And then the body dies. When reborn, it often starts as an animal, consumed by others, with only rare chances to be reborn as a human. Once reborn as a human, the cycle begins again. Striving, searching, working to survive, eating, sleeping, waking up, and repeating the same pattern, working to survive, eating, sleeping, and waking up. Is that all there is? Is life just this? In the end, there is so much suffering, constant sorrow, tears, and distress. Why do we struggle so much? Because we suffer, isn't that right? It's because of suffering that we keep striving. If someone had no suffering, why would they struggle? Isn't that so? Those who are free from suffering are those who no longer struggle. They are at peace. Why are they free from suffering? Because they have awakened within. They have come to know the essence of life, the true nature of their life essence. We are this life essence, vast, empty, pure, and clear. This essence is who we truly are. We must awaken to this truth. By observing as instructed, we can simply notice and understand that everything in this world, even the body itself, exists because of the thoughts we assign to it. We rely on this mental voice to give meaning, saying, this is a house, that's a car, that's an animal, a rabbit, a cat, a dog, this is a papaya tree, and that's a mango tree, that's an avocado tree, that's a teak tree, that's soil, that's the sky, that's wind, a hurricane. We give names to everything. This is water, this is the Yellow River, this is the Yangtze River, this is the 𝙤𝙬 River, this is the Moon River. We assign names to everything. But wait, let's try looking at everything for what it is. Sweep your gaze from left to right, from right to left, and simply observe. Notice that nothing speaks a name for itself. There is only a silent knowing, a spacious awareness without stories. Observe carefully. This knowing has no narrative, no content. It is empty, clear, and pure. Look again. It is a knowing that exists without anyone to claim it. It knows everything, but it knows without anyone being there. It knows on its own, without us. Look closely. There is no self in this knowing. There is truly nothing, only a knowing that everything is simply something being known. But this inner voice, it starts thinking immediately. As soon as we look at something, it begins. Oh, that's a person. Oh, that person is bad. Oh, that person is good. It's this voice speaking, not the thing itself. Do you see? When we look and think, oh, that's a dog. That dog is bad. Oh, that dog is good. That's a cat. That cat is good. That cat is not good. It's this voice assigning value. Pause for a moment. We're giving meaning to everything through thought. Look at your arms or legs, and the voice will say, "This is the left leg, this is the right leg." The skin, these fingers, these nails, look closely. These things don't speak. It's the voice in your mind that says, "This is my arm, my leg." But these things themselves don't say they belong to anyone. If they were truly ours, we could command them. Don't age, don't get sick, don't die. Can we do that? The body doesn't belong to anyone. It's simply a tool for existing in this world, like wearing a suit. We, as pure, empty, formless essence, take on this body to experience and learn. To learn anything, we must inhabit a body, just as a hermit crab lives in a shell. Do you understand? When this body dies, we seek another, and when that one dies, we replace it again. We've changed bodies countless times. But for what? What are we searching for? The answer lies in understanding, seeking enlightenment and true knowledge. Life seeks only one thing, to know what we truly are. It's like asking ourselves, what am I? Why was I born? This body is certainly not who we are. It's just something we temporarily inhabit. The body must eventually die, isn't that true? So this body is clearly not truly ours. Then we look deeper, as taught, try to remove the idea of the body, erase everything, all perceptions, all sounds, mental images, emotions and sensations of knowing, let them all go. What remains is the life essence. If we see that we are this essence, this life force without form, it becomes clear we are a pure and formless essence. When this realization arises, we understand completely that we've been seeking this truth all along. This understanding brings profound clarity, and with it comes the certainty that we will not be reborn again. Such a realization moves the heart deeply, bringing tears of joy and a profound release. It's as if we've been deceived. It's like an announcement. Attention, attention. We are recruiting actors to wear masks and play roles. This role will be a man. That role will be a woman. We, as clear and pure essence, hear the proclamation, we are offering bodies for free. Who wants a body? Choose any type. An aquatic creature, a land animal, or a bird. We also have a special quota for humans, but only 1 million human bodies are available per day. Oh, life essence, how you are drawn in. Oh, life essence, there's a year-end promotion to welcome the new year. Free bodies. Choose to be a man, a woman, or an animal, whatever you like. But here's the special deal. Only 1 million human bodies are available per day. This exclusive offer is part of the year-end celebration. And so, everyone rushes in. I want to be human. I want to be a woman. I want to be a man. I want to live there. I want to live here, in that country, with this skin tone or that skin tone. The scramble begins, competing to claim these free forms. The best human forms are limited to only 5. The rest will progressively diminish in quality. Whoever claims the best forms first will get them. It's first come, first served. And so, we eagerly rush to find vessels for learning. When you receive a body, you'll also get a voice, thoughts, mental imagery, all included for free. Emotions are part of the package too, as well as the ability to perceive. These tools are provided for you to use in learning within this imagined world. Who wants to be born? Step forward. And so, we all rush to be born, don't we? We receive this free gift, and once we have it, we believe, this is my body. Hey, I'm human. My name is Apple Freedom from Suffering. I am truly a man. I am truly a woman. This is my family, my house, my car. Everything belongs to me. We become attached, convinced that everything is us. We cling to the idea that we are human at this moment, but do you understand? None of it truly belongs to us. It is only something we temporarily inhabit to learn about ourselves. To truly know ourselves, we must rely on these things, this body, this voice. If there's one key point, it is this. We use the body to let go of the body. Through this realization, we will not be reborn again. Use this voice to realize that the voice is not us, and let it go. Use mental images to let go of mental images. Use emotions to release emotions. Use the act of perceiving to let go of perception. These things are not us, nor do they belong to us. This voice cannot be touched or held. It has no owner and arises on its own. Observe closely. Simply awaken within and notice. This voice thinks on its own, speaks on its own, saying this and that. Observe it carefully, and you'll see it's not you. It is just a phenomenon, a ripple, something occurring on its own. It has no self, no form, and cannot be grasped. Do you understand? Do you understand that these are merely tools? Can you see that mental images are just phenomena, not truly us? Emotions, too, are merely phenomena. They arise on their own and fade away on their own, whether they are feelings of satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Mental images, emotions, sounds, even the act of perceiving, hearing sounds, smelling scents, feeling sensations of heat or cold, tasting flavors, or seeing images, all of these are experiences through the senses. They occur as awareness flows through the windows of the body, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. It's like living in a house and observing the world through its windows. This house is a robot. To perceive everything around us, we need eyes to see outward, just like opening windows. Think about it. We dwell in this physical form, relying on the windows of our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. These are the portals through which we connect with the life force. This life force responds to contact, transforming into awareness, rippling into sounds, mental images, and emotions, giving meaning to all things so we can exist in this world. We begin to believe everything is real, permanent, belonging to us, and then we consume one another, destroy one another, filled with anger and hatred, competing and struggling, from wake to sleep. Oh, how we struggle and strive, quarrel and fight, compete and contend, all for mere paper. We pretend this paper is money, scrambling to possess more of these sheets, believing whoever has the most is the winner. How much of this paper wealth can we accumulate? We seek to become important figures, respected and revered, rulers of this world. But know this tiny body will perish. We weren't born to suffer, weren't born to be lost in this physical form, weren't born to be entranced by sounds, mental images, emotions, and consciousness. We weren't born to be consumed by the masks we wear. Rather, we were born to realize the truth, that there is nothing here that is truly us. From the beginning, we were formless life essence. How peaceful it was without shape or form. Oh, how free from suffering. But because this life essence lacked understanding, because we didn't know we were pure essence, we came to dwell in physical forms. We've changed bodies many times. Now, residing in this human form, we believe we are human because everyone taught us to believe so, as they too are caught in the same belief, aren't they? When we're born, if parents and relatives say, "Dear child," now you understand what parents and teachers tell you. Isn't that how it goes? Dear students, remember this. The speaking voice is merely a manifestation of our mind's life essence. This voice is just a tool, without substance, intangible, isn't it? This voice, this body are just temporary vessels. We are consciousness, the empty, clear, pure life essence. We're simply dwelling in this body, child, like inhabiting a robot. We reside in it temporarily. It won't last long. This body won't last long. Soon it must die. We don't have much time, child. We must hurry to understand that this body is not who we are. Your teacher parents are teaching you, child, that this body is not ours. Try to understand this, child. This body and everything we value, whether houses, cars, earth or sky, this body of ours arises from this voice. Are you thinking now? Can you see your thoughts? Can you see the speaking voice? If you can see the voice thinking in your mind, or speaking in your mind, know that our mind, our life essence that is consciousness, has no mouth, child. But can you see how this rippling that becomes voice? Can you see, child, that the speaking voice is merely a rippling of life essence? If you can see that the voice thinks on its own, speaks on its own, that mental images arise on their own, that emotions arise and fade on their own, child. All voices, images and emotions, whether contentment or discontent, happiness or suffering, or any kind of emotion, child. These emotions are just phenomena that arise and fade on their own, owning to no one. See that they are not us. Even the awareness of hearing sounds. Do you see, child? It hears by itself. See. Do you need to try to hear right now, child? No need to try to hear, no need to practice hearing. It perceives on its own. It knows sounds by itself, knows smells by itself. It knows, it sees by itself. It knows tastes by itself. It knows when it's hot or cold. It knows by itself. Can you see how it perceives everything on its own, child? Observe carefully. See that these things are not us. They know by themselves. Can you see now how it knows on its own, hears on its own? And where are we, child? Where are we? Let the mind answer, child. Let the life essence answer by itself. If it answers on its own that there is no self at all, and acceptance arises, if you can truly accept that there is no self, that everything thinks, imagines, and knows by itself, it will be as if we're pulled out of this body, child. When we're pulled out of the voice, pulled out of perception, pulled out of emotions, it's like we break free from this world too. And we'll know that we are empty essence, clear, utterly pure, a life force that dissolves into the universe where no suffering exists at all. Here there is no need to seek food, no need to struggle for sustenance, no need for a body. Here, a body is not required. When there is no body, there is no suffering, for there's no need to find clothes to wear, no troubles with eating, no troubles with sleeping, no troubles with anything at all, because there is no body. And there is no voice either, no need for voice in communication, because it has merged with everything, becoming one with all things. There's no need for communication, no need for mental images, no need for speaking voice, not even emotions, because there are no emotions at all. It transcends happiness, transcends suffering, transcends everything, transcends all types of emotions. It is utterly pure, pristine, immaculate, beyond supreme. No words can describe it, but it is ultimate perfection, pure and immortal. Neither born nor dying, it is a timeless nature dwelling here, without distance, and without even the state of knowing. Not even the phenomenon of knowing exists. The state of knowing is merely a tool for use in this world. The voice is for use in this world, isn't it, child? The body is for use in this world, isn't it? Emotions are for use in this world, aren't it? But the life essence transcends the world, transcends everything. This is what we must reach, must realize, must win this game. I don't know what to call it, but we must win this game. Connect with your own life essence, all of us. To reach it is to understand like this. Our life essence only wanted to learn, but when we received these free gifts, when we received these free things, a body, voice, mental images, emotions, the state of knowing. Having received these tools for free, we became lost in them, forgetting what we truly are. Can you understand this? It's like being born on this earth, but while we were sleeping, they took us to Mars. Imagine being taken to the moon or Mars, let's say Mars. They brought us to Mars and we lived our lives there. They told us, this is our world. This is our world, child. We're on Mars. We lived this way, staying there for about 50 years. We came to believe we were Martians, living that life. But you know what? The truth is we were born on this earth. We're not Martians, we're people of this earth. Do we realize that on Earth we don't need spacesuits, don't need houses designed for Mars? Those things were created to live on Mars, but on Earth we need none of them. Just simple wooden houses with windows, glass doors, and many people in this world. No need to live in frames, in cages, in systems. This is the truth. Do you understand this metaphor? Our true reality is the empty, clear, pure life essence. This is our original element. Many who listened to these teachings found peace quickly, some within days or even hours. Let us share this Dharma with every soul on earth, starting from the young ones. Let it be heard in schools daily, woven into their curriculum. Through this path, all beings may find liberation from suffering, ushering in an era of global peace. People will cease to harm, destroy, compete, or take life. Instead, we'll live together, discussing the nature of consciousness and the elements of life that bring lightness and ease. People share their stories. Oh, yesterday I wept as all tension dissolved away, and then I found release. When truth was seen, wait, this knowing isn't me knowing, these thoughts aren't me. There was a sudden release. Everything exploded, shattering into finest dust, the entire universe dissolving away. Oh, such spaciousness, such profound ease. Understanding dawned. Now I know. I'm free from suffering. Sharing this with others, they responded with joy. Sadhu, wonderful, we rejoice with you. We held hands and embraced. Yes, that's how it was when I found release too. I was just walking around and kicked a stone. At that impact, there was this sudden recognition. What just happened? That startling moment of insight. There was a seeing that the act of awareness knows by itself, and at that moment it was clear that this knowing happens on its own, and the sensation of pain occurs by itself too. Then suddenly, boom, everything broke apart. Oh, sitting there with leg pain and tears flowing, it was truly miraculous, something profoundly vast. In that moment, there was a transcendence beyond the worldly realm, and even the pain vanished. Or rather, there was pain, but no one who owned it. It wasn't me in pain anymore, just pain occurring without an owner. When this released, it was absolutely wondrous. Oh, what a day! I too had arrived, feeling light and spacious, basking in that contentment for 3 whole days. One person shared with another, saying, "Oh, my experience wasn't that profound. When I emerged from that state, I felt blissful for just an hour before returning to normal. Why did yours last 3 whole days?" The other replied, "Yes, 3 full days for me." I didn't hunger for food or sustenance. I remained in that state of completeness for 3 days, walking with a smile. It was beyond happiness. It was a complete transcendence. I dwelled in that pure contentment for 3 days and nights, experiencing a miraculous inner fullness. Then I returned to my ordinary state, but now with complete understanding. Now I live my daily life as before, but with this deeper awareness. Everything, thoughts, contemplations, emotions, they're all still present, but none of them is truly self. Are you experiencing this too? The other person responded, "Yes, I'm experiencing the same thing now. It's quite extraordinary. There's no self at all. Even as I'm speaking now, it's not a me. Even what I'm hearing isn't a me. There's hearing, knowing naturally, speaking naturally, emotions arising and passing away on their own, appearing and disappearing by themselves. Every day is filled with such ease." Another person, overhearing this conversation, rushed over and said, "I just experienced this moments ago. I was crying with joy. I was simply walking when I heard the sound of cars colliding at that corner with gunshots and a loud crash. As I turned to look, a realization suddenly struck me. Who is hearing? Who is startled? In that instant, everything fell away completely. Just moments ago, I felt such profound contentment, crying and speaking at the same time, completely fulfilled. Everyone will begin to discuss their realization of the elemental nature of life. Let everyone share this understanding. It's entirely natural. All of us should listen deeply to these recordings, share them widely. Tell everyone in this world to listen to these recordings I've made in abundance. I will create more recordings like this. universal recordings that contain the essence of world peace, the universal core of liberation from suffering. I will speak only of these essential truths of life, sharing with all of us across the world so that we may understand. The more we listen, the deeper our understanding grows. Understanding, understanding, understanding. Let us all verify this for ourselves. Just observe while listening. Observe who is hearing. See how awareness hears its own words, knows by itself. See? No need to intentionally know. No need to deliberately practice anything. Knowing happens by itself. Where are we in all this? Observe carefully. This sound knows itself, though we can't locate where the sound resides. And the state of knowing knows itself, though we can't locate where this knowing resides. It cannot be grasped, yet it knows by itself. Look, where are we? Let the elemental life force, let the mind answer for itself. Let it answer that there is no self. When it truly accepts that there is no self, everything will break open, explode. We will feel spacious, light, filled with wonder, and tears will flow. We'll see that in this world, thoughts create everything. We'll witness the truth, know the truth. It's as if we've been under an illusion. We're playing a role, temporarily inhabiting this body freely, receiving thoughts, contemplations, emotions, and all conditions freely, being human freely. Once we arrived here, we took being human so seriously. In a way, it's like we're dreaming, yet we're taking it all so seriously right now. We're human. We must struggle to make a living, to become wealthy, to have a house, a car, a family, good status. We seek these things, struggle greatly, compete, fight, argue, feel anger, harbor hatred as if it's a matter of life and death. Sometimes we kill each other, harm each other, bomb and shoot at each other, fighting over land. This earth belongs to the world, not to anyone. This world simply exists as it is. Why fight over it? This body exists as it is. Why make such a fuss over it? Yet we struggle and compete for things that aren't ours. It's time to awaken. Nothing belongs to us. Nothing belongs to anyone. Even this body isn't ours. It's merely a temporary vessel for understanding the essence of life. If we don't understand this body will die. We must hurry to understand life's core truth, and then there will be no need for rebirth. The life essence is utterly pure, free from suffering, vast and profound. Once you reach this understanding, don't fall into the delusion of seeing yourself as a deity, thinking, I am the greatest, I am the most accomplished. There is no I. When you truly realize this, you'll see only the clarity and purity of nature where no self exists. There is no self to become anything, no self to gain anything. Coming into this world, there is only the pure and clear life essence. Do you understand? Whoever has reached this state yet claims, I am this or that, is still playing with thoughts. You must see clearly that thinking is happening now, and these words I'm speaking, see that it's not us speaking. It's not truly existent. This voice is using the body to learn about the life essence, to understand the mind, which is the pure, clear core of life. Once you've truly reached this understanding, when this body dies, the life essence will not be born again, because there is complete knowledge that one's true nature is pure essence. This life essence will no longer depend on these forms. In the past, it has been born and inhabited countless vessels, changing containers millions of times. We have been everything there is to be. To understand this fully, though no one teaches it, no one ever teaches this at birth, this is a profoundly important matter. Therefore, the knowledge I have shared, spoken, and explained with clarity is a legacy for the world, offered for everyone to listen to and investigate for themselves. Let us all turn inward, toward the essence of life within us. Only then will we finally realize the truth, that we are the essence of life itself. Conquer this game, reach its depths. This is the greatest challenge of all knowledge in this world. Go ahead, pursue learning. But no matter how much we learn, it brings only suffering. The higher the education, the greater the suffering. The wealthier we become, the more we suffer. The more we have, the more suffering we carry. Whenever we reach the core of life, the essence of existence, which already resides within us, we begin to see clearly. To reach this understanding, we must recognize that the voice we hear is not truly us. Can you see it? The words being spoken are not ours. The mental images that arise are not ours either. They manifest on their own. For instance, every time we think or imagine, such as when we crave something, "Oh, I feel like eating sukiyaki or pizza." Imagine a large pizza topped with seafood all stretchy and melted. Do you see the image? As we sit there thinking, "Oh, I really want a big pizza," do you notice the voice speaking and the image appearing? If you can see that the voice and the image arise on their own, you begin to understand they are not us. They simply manifest naturally. The mind has no mouth, so how can it speak? When this truth is seen clearly, the essence of life is released. In that moment, you will immediately realize, who is it that speaks? It will be like this. Then you will see who it is that is aware, who it is that knows, who it is that hears the sound right now. This realization will cut through everything, and once the essence of life is released, tears will fall. Inside, there is no self, only pure, unblemished clarity, sublime and free from suffering. It only takes recognizing that the tool we are using to dwell here is not truly us. Why do we foolishly cling to it? It's fine to rely on something temporarily if it helps us understand ourselves. It's like setting out for a mystical island, a wondrous place whose exact location is unknown. To reach it, we must build a boat. So we build the boat and use it to journey toward the island. Once we reach the island, there it is. We step onto it, and in that moment, we push the boat away. Why? Because we no longer need the boat. Do you understand? What we sought was the island, a place where everything is complete. Do you see? It's like wanting fish, so we create tools, fishing rods, nets, and traps, to catch them. Once we have the fish, we discard the nets and traps because they aren't what we can eat. Can you eat a fishing rod? Can you eat a net or a trap? No. What we want is the fish. Do you understand? It's the same idea. Similarly, for the essence of life, this pure, empty, and clear essence to come to know itself, it must create tools. Without anything, life remains an empty, pure clarity, merging seamlessly with everything. For it to learn about itself, it needs tools. A body, sound, images, emotions, and the ability to perceive. Do you see? The words I speak rely on these tools to be expressed. Once the body is used as a vessel to be born, people are taught all sorts of things: how to live, how to survive, how to harbor anger, hatred, vengeance and resentment, how to compete and strive for superiority. They are taught skills for creating weapons to destroy one another, knowledge of how to harm one another, even knowledge of realms beyond this world and universe. But why is no one teaching about the mind, about the essence of life, the original source? This is the issue. If someone were to teach and clearly explain this truth, it would be transformative. By now we would all have attained enlightenment, and we would no longer return to be reborn. But still, no one has taught this. No one has come to teach it. I've spoken so much today that my tongue feels stiff. We have had the chance to listen to my recordings. So, listen to them, share them, and listen again and again, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. Keep listening until we reach the essence of life and are free of all doubts about no longer being reborn. You will truly know. If we can see that awareness is present, if we can hear the sound, simply observe this. Right now, as you are listening, observe who is hearing it. Suppose you are listening and laughing at the same time. Who is laughing? Who is experiencing joy? Can you see the feeling of happiness, of contentment? If you see that the feeling of satisfaction is simply its own state of satisfaction, vibrating as its own expression of contentment, and the awareness of sound, the act of perceiving, is also vibrating as its own act of awareness, then we might think, "Ah, I understand." Notice the sound of the thought, "Ah, I understand." See how it arises as its own vibration of thought. Even understanding itself is just another vibration. Can you see that these vibrations operate on their own? When you realize this, there will come a moment when you are pulled away from all of it, as if breaking free from something. It is as if we are released from the body, freed from sound, images, emotions, perceptions, and understanding, completely liberated from all of it. Then we will encounter the truth that we are not human, that we were never truly born into this world, and that we have never been anything or connected to anything. We are the pure and empty essence, profoundly clear and awaiting discovery. Let us turn inward and rediscover this truth, everyone. Do not seek it outside, for what is outside is just as it is, bound to the nature of this world. But within lies something profoundly challenging for those who seek deeply. For those who wish to be completely and permanently free from suffering, for those who long for peace on this earth, and for those who seek liberation from the endless cycle of birth and death, turn inward and awaken to the truth within. See clearly that the voice speaking is not us. It is a voice of its own, thinking on its own, continuing endlessly. If we stop clinging to and attaching ourselves to this voice and these thoughts, we will immediately be free. We will be free from illness, stress, anxiety, migraines, depression, stomach ailments, cancer, and other diseases will disappear. This freedom brings lightness, spaciousness, and the absence of suffering. Do you see how many illnesses we experience and the suffering we endure because we follow this voice, attaching to it, even though the voice has no true owner? Recognize that the voice thinks on its own without anyone possessing it. Realize that the mental images arising are simply pictures we create in our own mind. Think of a zebra. Can you see the image? The image you're imagining. Can you see that it arises on its own? It appears on its own, with no one owning it. Awaken and observe carefully. Recognize this clearly. Emotions are the same. Every time we think and follow those thoughts, feelings of satisfaction arise. But when things do not go as we think, feelings of dissatisfaction emerge. Both satisfaction, which we call happiness, dissatisfaction, which we call suffering, and neutrality, all these emotions are movements of the mind. They arise and dissolve on their own, with no one owning them. Can you see this? Observe once more the awareness that is present. It is aware on its own. It hears on its own, smells on its own, sees on its own, tastes on its own, and feels on its own. Can you see this? When you can see and understand it this way, a realization will arise within the essence of life. We will awaken to the truth. Am I truly unrelated to these sensations? And then it will all fall away. When we are freed from this, we will understand, and tears will flow because it is so profound and extraordinary, greater than winning 1,000,000 lotteries. Let me tell you, no matter how perfect our body is, how wealthy we become, or even if we own the entire world, this body will not last. It will die, and we will be reborn over and over again. Even if we are born as the ruler of this world, the most skilled or the most knowledgeable, we will never escape suffering. We will be caught in the cycle of birth and death, over and over, endlessly. This is called the cycle of birth and death, an endless loop of existence. When we see the dangers and harm in these things and no longer cling to ignorance, declare to yourself, "Enough, I will not be reborn again." Listen to my recordings every day until my voice resonates within your mind, echoing constantly. When we awaken, truly awaken, it will lead to letting go. The thoughts that arise will be seen and released. Mental images and emotions will also be seen and released because we will recognize that they are not us. The key is to see that they are not us. They are something without self, without essence. They arise, think, and feel on their own. Observe carefully. When this is seen clearly, a profound realization will occur, and freedom will follow. The mind yearns for awakening, guiding it to see this truth. When we do, we will reach the core of life, the pure, empty essence waiting to be discovered. This recording concludes here. May all of us quickly and immediately realize this truth. Blessings to everyone.